including our IG family. We're giving them a peek into our French Fluency Academy because sharing is caring. And I know that for many of you, it remains the mindset towards learning French that is the blocker. You may not even recognize it yet, but mastering your mind when it comes to learning a language is half the battle. Believing that you can do it is half the battle. So, welcome to our IG fam who's watching. This is our weekly Mindset Mastery class, and today we're going to speak about a topic that is very relevant. It's relevant because we work with tons of adult learners who are wanting to learn French. They express that, but very few actually hit the go button and start the learning process. So I want to speak today about rewiring perfectionism and speak about progress over perfection. So those on our Zoom line, just give me a thumbs up if you can see our document for this evening, what we're going to go through. We
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So rewiring perfectionism. So today we're going to help all of you, hopefully, overcome the trap of perfectionism. Very often we don't label wanting to be perfect as a trap, but it is. It's a trap. So we're going to overcome that by focusing on the power of consistent effort and progress rather than flawless performance when it comes to French. Okay. So feel free, as usual, to take some notes if you can. And we're going to dive right in. So tell me, okay, feel free to speak back to me. Have you ever, and this is the honesty moment of it all, so have you ever avoided speaking French because you were worried about making a mistake? You can either unmute or write to me in the chat. Have you ever avoided speaking French?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yes. Right. Okay. And thank you for being honest. Yes, lots of yeses happening with that. And that is where we begin. We begin with the transparency and the honesty. Okay. Now, my second question to you guys is how does trying to be perfect impact your learning? Now, this might feel like one where you haven't sat with for a long time before or even considered it. But if you think right now in this moment, how does trying to be perfect impact your learning? I know it's a big one.
Um, I don't know.
And that's okay. And that's kind of a starting, like I said, it's a question we don't always get the opportunity to sit with, but it's something I want you to, hi, thanks for joining. It's something I want you guys to sit with because trying to be perfect, very often we're not even realizing that it is impacting our learning. And I'll give you guys a story. So, even as a French speaker myself, there are very often insecurities with language as you get to the next level and the next level up and the next level up. Why? Because when you get past the basics, and for us, that was really young, like that was grade one, okay? But others, it's different stages. When you get to the next level, there's always going to be a part of language learning that is going to humble you. If anyone was perfect at language, French teaching and French language learning would not, there would be no use for it. It would not need to exist. So I share that to say that sometimes even those that you feel are at a level that you're trying to get to, there have been moments of insecurity. The other day, some students do their placement for their university with us at the French tutor. And one of our students, we were having a conversation, and she had spent a semester over in France. And she was sharing the story that every day, like, or little markets she would go to, they had uh, these little bags that little trinkets could fit in, and every little place had them. So there was one store where she wanted to ask for that, And in her mind, so she grew up speaking French as well, but she's in France now. So she's like, oh my goodness, what do you call this little bag? So she was thinking very literal, like petit sac, little bag is what petit sac is little bag in French. And she went up to the person and she's like, listen, what do you call that thing? And they're like, oh, that little bag, it's called a pochette. So I guess they had their own slang and their terminology for it. So that is a story just to show you as well that don't let trying to be perfect prevent your progress. If you don't know what something is called, it's totally okay to ask and say, hey, how do you say this thing? Because while she spoke French, she didn't know that little bag for the little trinkets was called pochette. And you might not have known that unless you're in that environment, in that culture, and seeking out the knowledge. Okay, so perfectionism is something that can often trap us, but today's all about releasing that. Okay, and understanding how releasing that is going to push us to progress. All right, so now I want you guys to this is going to be an interesting activity. I know we have different levels of French learners on the call, so we'll kind of see how this goes, okay? So the activity was intended to be that we pair up, okay, and we take some turns saying simple French sentences. Now I know Raquel, French is very brand new for you
Yeah.
and Bruno has a little bit more going on. But this whole activity, it's something we can see if we navigate it today or not. But it's important that we understand that there is benefit to practicing the imperfection. We don't get good at speaking until we have a little bit of a challenge, or maybe I might say, okay, I want you guys to tell me, how would you say this sentence? How would you say I had a great day? How would you say it's snowing in Montreal, wherever you are, right? So it is about the imperfect sentence building because that is how we're going to get to the progress that we're seeking. Okay, so maybe I'll give you guys a little bit of a break, maybe at the end, who knows? But I wanted to just make sure you know that's an activity, yes, for our class, but also to practice outside of class when we are looking to grow. Okay, let's learn through the mistakes as we make them. So I have a video that I'm gonna show you guys, and this video is all about showing why mistakes are essential for growth. Why mistakes are essential for growth. So I'm going to share that with you. Our IG family, you will probably be able to hear it, but it's just a short video to illustrate our release of perfectionism that we are working through today. And my IG crew, feel free to ask any questions if you are an adult who's been wanting to learn French and get an understanding of the language and how to get started. Let me know, what have you tried? What has worked? What hasn't worked? Okay, and I'm happy to answer any questions and address anything after our video. Okay. So to our crew on our Zoom and our French Fluency Academy, let's rock and roll.
Or my fear to fail. I wish to discuss 3 principles today that, if applied, will impact our lives now and forever. Number 1, don't quit too early. Most obstacles we face are here to test our character, not to stop us. Who here has heard of NCAA coach John Wooden before? John Wooden's perhaps the greatest college basketball coach in the history of the world. He has won 12 championships, 11 of which were consecutive titles. The true personification of success, both on and off the court. But most people don't spend any time trying to understand what happened to John Wooden in his career before all that success. He went 16 years without winning anything. Now think about that. 16 years and no titles, then 12 years and 11 titles. Many people would call phase 1 of his career a failure, but he called it preparation. A common excuse that I think all of you will be able to relate to that we often use is when something goes wrong is, well, it didn't work out, thus it's just not meant to be, right? And we usually stop right there. But that's not how life works most of the time. I remember learning a lesson from a professor in California. He said, get in line and stay in line. Don't quit too early. Number two, there's no such thing as failure. If you learned a lesson and gave your best, you succeeded. Have you thought of that before? Because we usually measure failure or success by the outcome, not by the effort. But if you've given your best, you succeeded. Robert Kiyosaki put it well when he said, sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. And we usually, when we win, we tend to party, right? But when we lose, we tend to ponder. I have a professor at BYU who has taught me a principle that at first sounds very uncomfortable. He said, and I hope my boss is not here to hear this. He said, Eduardo, go out there, get a job, get paid to make mistakes, and then go do your own thing. Right? So in his perspective, failure is a vehicle, a friend, not an enemy. It's a connecting point leading us to success. In other words, the faster I fail, the faster I learn. The faster I learn, the faster I succeed. So maybe the lesson here is go and fail as fast as you can. Just don't quote me on this. Right? Just last year, during the recruiting season.
All right, so that's what I wanted you guys to get a peek into because very often, and I wrote some of what resonated in the chat about not quitting too early. There's no such thing as failure, and go and fail as fast as you can. Those are some nuggets that I want you guys to even take note of, write it down somewhere if you're a note taker in your phone app. I want you guys to write that down, okay? The first one being, once again, don't quit too early. There's no such thing as failure. Go and fail as fast as you can, okay? Go and fail as fast as you can. So hearing that, I want to know, like, Raquel, I know you hopped on. How does that sit with you when it comes to learning French, to learning anything new? Where does that get your mind? Like, what's coming up for you?
Well, it was my first time attending the French class yesterday, and everything is brand new, but I'm actually willing to learn. I mean, I don't stop at first time, right?
Good for you.
So, yes, I love it. I really enjoyed it. Like, honestly, 100%. I am, as my time is like, what time is it right now? It's 8 a.m. and I
Which
haven't
is
been able to
crazy.
sleep.
Guys, Raquel is
I
joining us from
know.
another country. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
I know. And I'm fully awake,
And
like
you're
all the
here.
time. I was,
Love
yes.
it. Love it.
Even right now, I love it actually. And yeah, I love what the guy said. Like, don't. What I really love about what he said is that a failure is a vehicle to learning.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
I mean, yeah, I fail a lot of times. Like, I mean, I guess every day.
We're
But I
human.
don't.
Yes.
But yes, I fail all the time. Even though I do know what to do, I always fail at something in life, but I don't stop it there.
Good for
I
you.
just continue living my life, learning from it. I think that's the most important thing in failing. You learn from it.
That's right. And that's the
Mhm.
mentality to have as opposed to staying
Yes.
in the I failed, I didn't get it right. The
Mhm.
whole, yes, this was a lesson. Now, where did I go wrong? What did I miss? All right, let's course correct that and work
Mhm.
through it. Yeah, that's really good.
Right.
Yeah. Bruno, any feedback on that one? Just as it pertains to the whole perfectionism and
Yeah, I think it's pretty much what Raquel said. Like mistakes are part of learning and life.
yes, yes. And that's what I know we can say it. I know we can say it, guys, but I do want us to now embody it. I want us to wear that, right? So even when we are practicing our French or we're working through it in our different classes, it is okay to not know or to get corrected by the teacher with great intention, right? We want you guys to nail your pronunciation so that extra time you had to repeat it so that Madame or Monsieur can hear it and go, yes, there it is. That's all for us to progress forward. Okay, so we're not here for Madame to ask us, and every time we know it on the first try. No, it's about tweaking it, right? And we're rounding out our sounds very often and our comprehension to get to the whole goal. Okay, so now I want you guys to, I love a good exercise where we're writing, so I want you guys to write down one time that a mistake helped you learn something new in French. I mean, Raquel, you're just getting started, so I understand, but still, I want you to reflect. When did a mistake help you learn something new in French? For me, growing up, I will share because we were in French school, grammar was quite like grammar in French, guys, is a beast. It is, and Bruno, I don't know if you have to do any of that, but it's memory work. Okay, so your memory needs to be on point because tenses in French make no sense sometimes. And when you speak, like I know you guys both speak different languages. Both of you, your first language is not English, which is amazing.
Right.
Learning French, amazing. But there are some things in the French language that like there is no reason always behind it because the language, the native language that you speak, you don't always have to break it down or understand why you say it the way you do. In French, as a second language or third language learner, like you guys, you do have to understand. So for me, it was always a little bit of a like really pushing to nail the grammar because grammar is this thing, it doesn't just affect your writing, grammar is very much your speaking in French. And when you are fully bilingual or you're on your way to doing that or trilingual, you have to nail the grammar. That's how I will know, that's how someone else will know, wow, you really speak that language because the grammar's on point. Okay, you got to know like the type of past tense to use. If is it imparfait, passé composé, or is it ancient French, passé simple, which is only written down, but you got to understand and be able to identify it. Okay, so I want you guys just to write that for yourself. Okay, in this moment, writing down what that mistake helped you learn in French. Okay, I want to have you guys have that for yourselves. I don't need to really see that. Okay. Now, the second piece of our reflection for today, I want you all to write a short affirmation about embracing progress. This is something we are going to share. So, for example, you guys know I'm big on affirmations and mantras because I believe what you speak, you become. If you say, I can do it, you're going to do it. Say,
Agree.
I can't, right? If you say, you can't do it, I can't do it, where are we? We're in the can't do it crew, right? So I want you guys to think of one that I want you to just take a minute, but we'll share it in 1 minute. An example of an affirmation is I am proud of my efforts, not my perfection. Okay, it's an affirmation that you want to create for yourself when it relates to embracing progress. Okay, so take a minute, write one down. If anyone joining us on Instagram wanted to share their affirmation as well, you are welcome to. You're welcome to, because you're getting a peek into our class. All right. So write a short affirmation about embracing progress. And when you're ready, if you're ready, you are welcome to share. You can write it down. I know some people are the writers, or you can speak it out loud, but I want to just have you guys share that in the space. Okay. Raquel, did you want to get started?
Mine is just short, but
Yeah,
I
let's
was
hear it.
thinking, yeah. So
It's about progress, about like general, or because this one I was relating to French class. We're always
Yes.
relating to French class, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, here's one. I will learn French, however long it takes for me to be able to travel to France.
Hey, that is epic. Okay, I will
Epic.
learn French, however long it takes for me to travel to France.
Yeah.
Yes, Raquel. Yes, that's it. Yes.
It's not hard
Ooh.
for me. I mean, for airfare, the thing that is hard for me is the visa. Because coming from a third world country, it's challenging to get the visa.
Yes, and but sometimes, you knowing a language can get you in somewhere. Just
Yeah.
saying. Hashtag
Yes,
just saying. Yeah.
I know. I mean,
Beautiful.
it's a skill, I guess, if you say like I do know how to speak
Oh,
French.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even like you will notice, even when I was listening, I jumped into your class yesterday just to peek in,
Uh-huh.
but I ended up staying the whole time. Uh,
Uh-huh.
what I noticed, even for you, Bruno, do you guys realize how knowing another language is your superpower? Do you know how much quicker, even those, obviously it will differ, but it's just tweaking you're doing. You're not completely like lost in the language acquisition. Your on, that on, or was it the oo? The u, that u sound. That's
Mm-hmm.
different. That's very different in French. But I noticed you guys after like a few attempts, you got it. Like your native language comes to mind first, and it's like just going through another channel and it has to come
Mm-hmm.
out French. But I was really proud of you guys for sticking to the attempts because French sounds, once you really nail them, you nail them. But it's like a training. It's a I always say it's a muscle exercise of the mouth because how you have your lips matter, how you place your tongue in your mouth, but you'll get it. But I noticed you guys having your other language really helped with that specifically. I did notice that. So that was cool. Bruno, any affirmation you want to share?
Yeah, maybe something like I might take my time, but I will learn French.
Ooh, yes. I might take my time, or it may take some time, but I will learn French. C'est ça?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Guys, you are making me want to put these affirmations. I'm going to put it on the board in our platform. I'm going to put it on the board. That was so good. Okay. Now, I want you guys to clearly you're good at writing affirmations. Now it's about making sure that they're embedded in you. Very often, I'll be very honest, guys, it's very easy to be discouraged when you are attempting something new, or let's say you are trying to be really diligent with learning. You're like, man, I'm not really getting it. Or someone asked me this question before and I didn't know it and I still don't know it. But I love that you have both taken on these similar mindset shifts where it's like, listen, I'm going to learn my big goal to travel to France, right? Who knows? Like, yeah, I'm going to take some time, but I will learn French. That's the starting point. Okay. That's more than the starting point. You guys have the mindset to get this journey started. Okay. So here's what I want to leave with you guys. You know that I believe our our mindset mastery session is very impactful, but I also believe that what you do outside of this class matters as well. So for a takeaway, I want you guys to write or say one imperfect sentence in French each day until next week. Okay. Now, Raquel or Bruno, what I can suggest is go online. Okay. I have a great website. If you go to Fovo, I'm writing it in the chat. Okay. .com. That is actually a website that you can hear how something is pronounced. Okay. So whatever you want to think, like even if you want to make your like a piece of your affirmation, I will learn French. Or Bruno, yeah, I will learn French. Okay, or Bruno, even if I know you're a little bit more in a French environment, take your whole sentence. Put it into full vol, guys. Listen to how it sounds, or just any other random sentence you might think of or saying. Put it into full vol to get the French pronunciation. And I want you guys perfecting that. Take that one imperfect sentence, and I want you guys to be repeating after that because that's how you build fluency. There's got to be frequency, okay, happening. There's got to be precision, accountability, all those things. So I want you guys just take that away as an assignment for the week ahead. Okay. So I'll just share that in a writing here. Okay. So write and take your screenshots or write down as you need to. Write or say one imperfect sentence in French each day and track what you learn from it. But to get the right pronunciation, please go to fulvol.com. In the chat I wrote for you guys. Even keep that tool. That tool is a gem. You get to hear how different things are pronounced if you want to ever practice something. If we have more types of takeaway assignments, which we will, that's going to help you practice. The repeat after me habit is so, so powerful. Okay.